the holidays, my wonderful parents got me some of the Morpho series books. I love me some good reference books, okay? I'm especially excited for these two because your girl is lacking in her anatomy knowledge. So I thought the perfect way to start a new year would be to start working on something that I am bad at. And I'm bringing you along for the ride. Let's get started. Something I found really interesting in this book, I don't know how much I'm allowed to show on here. I don't want to get in trouble for like exposing too much of a book. And also there's a lot of nudity in here. It's sketched nudity, but it might still cause some red flags to hit in the YouTube. I'm just gonna flip to like this page where it has some nice simplified skulls. It kind of has them broken down into a few smaller shapes or a little bit more detailed on like where the eye sits within the socket and stuff like that. But it doesn't have as much written explanation as I thought there'd be, which is okay. Just wasn't expecting that. I think what I'm gonna do is just practice drawing some heads that I find online. I just typed in 100 heads into Pinterest and this is number 1 on it, so we're gonna start with that one. I'm gonna try to draw it fairly large. So I think the ear would be right in this area. The center line is kind of this direction. The chin is probably right around here somewhere. We got the eyes. They're almost straight across, but not quite. They're more like this. Nose is somewhere in here. It's gonna be kind of on this ring of this circle, the tip of her nose. And then the outside of the face here. This is parallel to this line. Ear will be right around this area, with the hairline being up here. So I'm pretty sure this should be the halfway point on the head. Well, means the nose is gonna be like down here. Chin, mouth, and then the nose out to here, and then up to here. Eyebrows are in here somewhere. Wait, but this was supposed to be the eyebrow line. Hold on. Those should be lower. And her eyebrow does come up at the end on this side. So we'll bring that in a little bit. The nose shape should be kind of like this. Eyes are right in here. And this one starts kind of where this ends. And then it ends like in here. So that would be the other eye. She has an eyelid. It's going to wrap this way, and then the bottom one, her eye in the corner. We bring this straight across. So then the mouth, we round her on this side and then this way. And that line, and then it's pretty straight across like that. Okay, I mean, I don't know if that looks super similar to her, but angle-wise, it's off. That plane is here. Hair part is here. The rest of her hair you can kind of see on this side. It just comes straight across her face. I don't love how dark the nose is right now. I'm gonna lighten that a little bit. Then her neck definitely swings down because then her clothes come right up underneath the ear. Oh, the mouth is also weird. So a shadow goes this way and along the chin. And then she's also got a strong shadow up the side of her face. I don't like how wide this part of her face is. So if that's brought in a little, does that help? And there's even like a line of shadow in the eye area. And the nose starts about there and then goes up into a nostril. And then all of this is shadow, and under here is shadow. Okay, well, for a first sketch of the day, I'm not mad at it. It definitely can be improved upon immensely, but I also don't want to spend a tremendous amount of time on one. So let me just put this shading in and then we'll go to the next one. Okay, well, we're gonna move to the next one. I can very much tell that it's not right. We started this video by saying that I am not good at this. So what did you expect? This guy's a little more straight on, and his head's a little bit more like this. He's looking up and to the left. His eyebrows here, and then his nose is here. These lines are here and here, and then his mouth is in here somewhere, with his chin being kind of wide and flat, and then this part kind of smoothing in See part of his ear, and then his other ear. And he's got his shirt and his sweater. So the center of his nose is a pretty flat nose. Like this, and then that part's really dark. There's a little bit of shading underneath here. And then his chin, which also has a bit of shading under. Part of his eye there. This pretty much goes to it, and then his eye opening is here. And this line up here. And then his hairline is in this area. Very thin eyebrows. You can barely see those. Give him the shading down here. Just gonna pretty much hatch in the majority of this side, it looks like. And then we will see how we did. I do think that it captured more of a likeness. This dude also just had a more unique face. I feel like it's easier to capture a likeness when someone has a more unique face, because it's like, this could just be like any white girl, you know? But this is like, oh, this nose, this shape of his head and everything is just more uniquely him. It's more forgiving, I guess. And his hair is a dark color. So I'm gonna scribble that in, and then bring this ear in, and then goes down. His head's too wide, for sure. And eyes, I think it should have been slightly higher, like more of this. And then the wrinkles make him look older than he does here. But I like the portrait, it's just not exactly this dude. I think a lot of it is if I had squished his face in a little bit, probably this side. Yeah, it's this side needs to come into like here, then it would have been better. So next one. Head wrap is kind of throwing me a little. This is the top of his head. 1, 2. With his chin here, bottom of his lip here. His nose is almost as wide as his lips. So out to here, and then his lips will be like there. And then it's 2 very defined nostrils that come down into a V. His eye corners start within the span of his nostrils, eyebrows. He does have a pipe, which I guess we can draw in like that for now. His nose is pretty close to his cheekbone. If you have this line, this eye line, his eyes almost start like in here. Okay, yeah, his nose is shorter. He doesn't have a perfect third face. Probably should have measured that at first instead of just assuming. Okay, that makes more sense. And his eyes will probably still start in here. They are more squinted. Eyebrow somewhere in there. And his nose starts here. Okay, cool. That makes more sense. And then that also gives enough space between here, so that's fine. This line's here, and then his eye starts about there. Seems too wide, but I guess it does kind of look that wide. His eyes are so small because they're squinting. It feels like, well, okay, I do, wait. They probably are still starting a little wide. Maybe I do bring them in a little bit. Maybe something more like this. And his eyebrows are here. Yeah, and then this one should probably come in just a tiny bit too. I think that looks a little better. And his headdress is like super close to his face. His cheekbone like this, a little bit more curved. And then it comes down around his mouth to his chin, and then he's got some beard here. And this side comes up through here. You can still see his zygomatic fringe. And then the headdress part swoops up and around like that. Oh, look how much smaller this head came out. Oops. His headdress probably won't be perfect. That's okay. And then this crosses over here, into here, his beard hair, and then it comes down like this. And then his shoulders are up here though. Finish this. And we got his mouth. We'll just refine it a little. Got a lot of light sources hitting him because he's got the bounce off of his jacket that's causing a yellow to hit on the underside of his face here. Then he's got the sky hitting him from the top that's adding kind of a gray. So I'm not exactly sure how to shade this. So maybe I'll just do a basic shading. Comparing these two, see if I can do this so you guys can see it. It captures a likeness once again. I feel like this one is also better than the first one, but again, his face is more unique. so it just feels more similar. So I also don't know how true that is. You see what I mean? See how many different light sources there are? There's like this part here, and there's also the part from his jacket. I'm not good enough to be able to figure that out yet. His nose is not right. His mouth, like his lips could definitely be bigger, probably come up to here. But all in all, I think it's okay. It looks like a person. It definitely is off center too. Draw this line through here. That nose is like, whoa, needs to be more in this area. But it's not bad. I definitely like this one the most. I'm gonna try to do this child's face. Very different from the ones I've been doing. Do this, I'll smear this everywhere. It's gonna be smaller, and then her face is here. Ears. Nose should be somewhere in here. I think maybe it should be to the left a little bit. Big eyes. Her eyes need to be much larger than that. It's really hard to have the reference down here at my lap and then to have to transfer that to a completely different angle of this. So that's kind of been a bit of a challenge here. No, this area. Okay, she's not looking as young as she is in the reference photo, and I'm assuming that's due to the proportions being off. Her eye area looks too adult. That one's definitely the weird one. This one might be too small, but this one's just not in the right spot. I mean, that's a little better. I feel like it's too old looking. They're not bad faces. They're just not looking like who I want them to be. What if we made the side of the face a little rounder and we brought the chin up? They made it a little bit younger, but still interesting. I think I want the nose right in here. Alright, I mean, it's weird, but it looks like an adult trying to be a child. Okay, I mean, it is what it is. Let's go to the next one. Let's set this on the keyboard. We're gonna try that. It's a little bit better. So his overall head shape is kind of like this, including the beard. Forehead, eyes, center line, 3/4 nose. And then he's got the center of his mouth, just a very small opening. It's mostly beard. And then mustache there. You can see some of his skin here. That area is his skin area. It goes like this, and then you can kind of see the bridge of his nose. Very slight, and then it goes into a hard scowl wrinkle. Got some nice dark, big eyebrows. This line connects down into this line, and the whole eye ends before the edge of the face. Eyelid, and then pupils right in here. And he's got some bags under his eyes. Okay, his nose is definitely too long. Do I want to bring the nose up or bring the eyes down? Probably should bring the nose up. The bridge would be about there, and then it goes into the tip of the nose more of here. Technically, it's more like here, because it would end with this line. Here, it's a much more squished face. This eyebrow is right in here. Eye crossed. A line there to there. And then the corner of his eye starts here, up, down, meeting that line. Approximately like that. And then the corner of his eye, more like that. But maybe make his nose a little bit wider. And then that means the ear would be somewhere in here. And he's got lots of gray hair. I feel like his face is like now too squished. And I don't know if that's because maybe it's too wide. I don't know. Mine just looks more friendly Santa. And this guy, my reference, looks more intense Viking. But I like it. I like the drawing. Probably my favorite so far. So you can figure out the shading here. So a little bit there, always under the nose. We define his mouth just a little bit more than this. He's looking a little, oh, that's the face he's got. He's got some eye wrinkles. Okay, just gonna go to the next one. So one more down here. General shape of this guy is kind of like this, with his hair being in here. Eye line, kind of up, nose, mouth, and his hairline. His hair comes down to where his nose ends. Then we have the clothes, ear. So then his eyebrows be a little pointed down. His eyes are right in here somewhere. This eye ending about there with the nose. The eyes up here. That space is, I don't know, maybe about right. This to this. That is straight. Then we got the bridge of his nose. And then up. And then this eyebrow is over this eye. Now that's way too high compared to this eye. Do I bring this one up a little bit? I mean, this eyebrow does kind of cut off this eye as well. It's like, it's just above where the eye would be. I'll put these irises in and see how it feels. How do I feel about that? Very intense. Can you bring his mouth up a little bit? Well, that just looks weird. Hold on. And this is obscured, and then this is all facial hair. I mean, it does look like him a little bit. His ear needs to be in a little bit closer. His neck is somewhere in here. Okay, I mean, it's a man, you know? It's a dapper gentleman. But I do think that as I kept drawing, it got a little better. I mean, these last two, I feel like look a little bit better constructed. I don't know if it's because I put my reference up here, so it's significantly easier to see, or it's because of the last two that I drew, so I just got more warmed up. I don't know. She's okay, not great, not my favorite, not my favorite. But, I mean, all in all, they look like people, so that's good. Kind of the minimum. This one definitely looks like the first one I sketched, and I feel like these two definitely look like the last ones I sketched. So, overall improvement for sure. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you all soon. Bye.